Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Show with Coach Tommy Tice. And I'm your host, Lauren Tepper. We're here to talk about the Harrison Goblins and the Alma Airedales game last Friday night. Harrison took it on the chin, losing 39-0. But Coach Tice is here to go over play-by-play of each one of the plays of the game, and we'll talk about that. But let's talk a little bit about the game a little bit. Harrison Goblins played really well the first quarter, I thought, and the start of the second quarter, and then all of a sudden the wheels kind of fell off. And
well, it did. I thought we played real well. I thought our kids gave a great effort the first quarter and into the second quarter, and they scored their first touchdown on a long drive. Mm-hmm. And we had a play in that drive, 3rd and 12. That we had a chance to get off the field and didn't get that accomplished, but then it kind of snowballed a little bit. And what it does on a good team like Alma, I mean, one of the best teams in the 5A, probably in the state, because They've got that great player back there in Isaac McCoy, and also they kind of stumbled on some other things they can do well.
That they found out.
Well, when Henley came back at linebacker, 6'3", 225 pounds, and I saw him lining up at tailback, really concerned me because I knew they had figured out that they were a lot larger than we were up front, and they were fixing to pound us.
Right.
And, when you start two defensive tackles, one weighs 185 and the other weighs about 205, and a couple of linebackers weigh about 180, and one of them weighs about 155, something like that. It can get a little tough if they're going to try to pound you. I was hoping, really, coming into the game, that they would give the ball to McCoy all night long and try to run him across the field. And we did a pretty good job of hemming him up. But they, like I say, they kind of stumbled on that other. And, that one back was 240. 46 was 240. And then, of course, Henley's 225. Yes. And going to Kansas State or Kansas, I can't remember which one. But they got a good football team. They were quicker defensively than I gave them credit for. Of course, when you watch tape of people and you're watching two films, you don't know if you're watching film of people that are slow or both teams are fast. Mm-hmm. But they had good speed defensively. So, tough ball game. Kids are disappointed. Coaches are disappointed. Fans are disappointed. We're all disappointed. But, again, we get to come back home. And, I told the kids, I said, a couple things. I wasn't happy with the last 2.5 quarters of play. We cannot be happy with that. We did not uphold Goblin tradition. Mm-hmm. It's poor coaching on my part. Didn't get it done. But we're lucky. We get to play two contenders at home and two of the I won't say they're weak teams because there aren't any in the 5A West, but two of the lower division teams, Morrilton and Huntsville, on the road. And we got to fix this road thing, Lord. I don't know if we need to go down the night before. I need to talk to Dr. Moss and see if the budget's got anything in it for that. But that's behind us. What's behind us can't hurt us. What's out there waiting on us, what we're going to be worried about.
And I know you don't like to look at negatives, but statistically, what I'm going to say is stuff you hadn't already thought about or looked at. We've scored 7 points on the road. I mean, that's it in 3 games. I know that's a kind of a mental thing because the offense can score. We know that. You got speed. Tate Stokes is back there when Jackson Dorman is running well, and Colton and Clark Pryor are running well. You can move the ball. We prove we can move the ball. The question is getting it across the end line and putting something on the scoreboard.
Well, that's it's kind of like anything else, I guess. The more you harp about it, the worse it usually gets. So I don't talk about it. I'm a one play at a guy time, and that's I don't worry about that stuff. Statistics are for people that worry about statistics. Like I told my team, I said, I don't worry about wins and losses. I want to see how hard we're playing. And if we're playing hard as we can and doing the things we need to be doing to help our teammates out, then I'm tickled to death. And that's like this first quarter we're going to watch here in a minute. You're going to see Goblins getting after it. And but we don't, we didn't finish drives. And that's kind of been a deal for us ever since the Batesville scrimmage.
Right.
If we finish drives. Now, you mentioned speed, and I don't know that speed on our team. We're not the fastest guys in the world, and of course, when we played Siloam, found out we were as fast as they were, and certainly Tate did run off and leave them. And Jackson has played extremely well, offensively running the ball hard. But we're going to get to where we're going in plenty of time. That's why it's so important that we don't bust plays, that we don't have a penalty here, that we don't. have a loss of yardage play. We've got to stay in normal rhythm. We got to go 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 2. Where we can run or throw the football, and that's just the way it is. We're just our football team is a hard-working team. I've said that from the start. They come back. Hey, they came back in on Sunday. They worked their butts off. Something good's going to happen to them. If we could reschedule the last 4 games, all of them at home, tickle me to death. If we never went on the road again. But that's also a tribute to our fans at home, big crowds that we've had.
We've had real big crowds
behind our players. We appreciate that so much. And a lot of football left in this season, and we're going to have opportunity to win football games. We're going to have an opportunity to win this ball game Friday night. Last Friday, like I say, is behind Alma. Great team, great school, great administration. Everything they do is first class. I mean, they don't ride the ball games on them yellow dogs. They riding on them, them old trailway buses,
right.
Greyhounds and things like that. And they very nice facilities and all that they do. That fine arts building down there and stuff like that. Everything they do, they try to be the best. And so I enjoy going to Alma. It wasn't the most fun trip I've ever had the other night, but I like to go to Alma because I think they try to do things right.
And this is in some areas the team is young. We're still inexperienced in a lot of areas. But you're right. We talked about this before we came on the show. We're not out of this. It's still 1 and 2. No. You got 4 ball games, 4 conference games. Really the heart and the toughest part of your schedule. I don't want to say that it's easier, but when you rank the teams you got left to play, as you said, you got the 2. I don't want to say weaker, but if you ranked 1 through 4, who's left? You're glad you got them on the road versus the 2 that you got at home.
Well, what we need to do, Lauren, is we need to mature as a football team. We fell behind Solomon Springs 14-0 at home. We came back.
Right.
A lot of that due to our crowd and playing at home. Excuse me. We get on the road, we drop down 7 points. Well, 7 points is nothing, but we don't rise up and meet that challenge. It's kind of like this. If somebody hits you in the mouth, Lauren, you got 1 or 2 choices. You can say, what are you doing? Or you can hit him back twice as hard and then ask him what he's doing. When we get hit in the mouth, we're not reacting correctly. Now, that's poor coaching on my part. I hadn't got that across. Got to keep working. All you can do is go back to practice and work and work and work and work, and things are going to work out. But we have to mature as a team, and if something goes wrong on the road, we've got to fight back quicker. We can't hang our head. We did some extra running on Monday, try to hammer that home a little bit. That's not acceptable. Getting beat, hey, sometimes you get beat by a better team. And certainly we got beat by a better team the other night. But I believe we can play them rascals, and I'd like to play them again.
I'd like to play them at FS Garrison Stadium.
I'd love to play them, but I want to tell you this much, life is not always fair. It's not fair for Ray Gomez at 185 pounds for me to keep telling him that, Ray, you can whip that 380-pound guy.
And that kid's a junior.
But let me tell you, so's Ray Gomez. And I'm going to tell you something. Ray Gomez handled him pretty well all night long. And because Ray has a deep belief in himself. And that's how you rise to any occasion, by believing in yourself. And we got to get kids to believing in themselves that they can get the job done, no matter what the odds are, no matter how big they are. It doesn't make any difference. And but then reality sets in sometimes too. And when they run it right at you, and then they mash you with that 380-pounder, well,
and there's a 320 right next to him.
That's that's reality.
Right.
That's reality, and you have to find a different way to skin that cat then.
Well, Coach, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll see the highlights of the first half. We'll be right back.